Tech Addicts 2025, Episode 20, The Ultimate Price Hike. We're back with tales of the Retroid Pocket Classic, the Honor Magic Pad 3 Pro, Xbox cancellations due to a price hike, the new Kindle, Google One plan changes, and re-enter the Pebble. Hello and welcome to the Tech Addicts podcast. This is me, Gareth, and I'm joined, as usual, by Ted. And I have to apologise first and foremost for talking over Ted's hello. And then also apologise for not getting to you last week, as agreed. But family matters got in the way, and I had to rush to America for a thing, and then rush back home again to get back to work. So, yeah, I had a bit of a chaotic weekend last weekend, and I just could not fit the podcast in because I was not physically here. Mm-hmm. But I am now, and here we are recording again for November. How are you, Ted?
Poor old you. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm ticking along. And, the usual weather reports, which is this time of year is my time of year. It's cool and lovely and rainy and cloudy and cool, and the air conditioner's gone away for the season. Yes, this is my time.
You know, that at this time last week I was sitting out, well, I suppose I was asleep, but this time last week it wasn't. I was actually up. I was sitting out in Maine, in Kennybunk, looking at the trees, watching the chipmunks bouncing about. It's a beautiful time of year over there in the America in the fall, as all the leaves are turning orange. But people were saying that actually the fall has fallen earlier this year than it normally does, and it doesn't usually turn as orange as it is now until maybe next month. So fall is falling earlier. Weird.
Yeah. It's that global warming buzzing, isn't it?
Possibly, yes. Some people will fight you on that, which I found out from an Uber driver. But yes.
Anyway, I'm glad you're back.
Yes, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be recording this again. It's nice doing this month by month.
One quick last mention for Ian Barton. Sadly, Ian was a really good friend of all of the podcasts, but particularly Tech Addicts, because he was a real tech head. And he passed away, sadly, 2 or 3 weeks ago. He had a stroke. He'd had real kind of problems with cancer for quite a long time. He'd been in touch with me quite closely. He was a very generous guy. I have kind of gone on about it on other podcasts, so I won't deep dive into it. But one of the things that I didn't deep dive about was, and we were just talking about this before we recorded, was Kix, C-I-X, which is was in the I think early 90s, probably, an offline conferencing tool. And Ian was involved in that with a whole bunch of the rest of us. We had, that's where I first was in contact with Steve Litchfield and Richard Yates and Kev Wright and just Chris Kelly, just a whole bunch. There was lots and lots of people that are still involved in our MeWe groups that were involved back in those Kix days. And for those of you who are too young maybe to understand what that is, it was because you had to dial up. It's called a dial-up conferencing thing. So all the time you were online, you were paying for your line to be connected to your computing device, whatever it was. In my case, usually a Scion handheld. You had conversations with everyone in a threaded type of way, and you dialed up, updated everyone else's comments and questions and everything, go offline, then go and deal with all the things that are new, which are helpfully coming through in bold at that stage, and then you would you would then, when you'd answered everyone and made all your comments, you go back online, dial up the modem again, and you go and dump your changes into this thing, and then come offline, and then rinse and repeat. Basically, because getting online was expensive, you had to pay for a phone call, basically a data connection on your phone line. You snapped in and snapped out, and we had a threaded conference thing in that kind of way. And the point of all that was really, yes, Ian Barton back in those days was involved in that as well, and it's just been really sad to know that he's gone. Lovely chap. And yeah, very sad. You remember that he has been quite instrumental in lots of items we've talked about on this show.
Absolutely, he's a very valued member of our community, and I'm very sad to hear that he passed away. I'd actually missed it because I'd been so busy over the last couple of weeks I didn't notice. But I'm not on MeWe terribly often either. But yeah, it's very, very sad to hear. I liked Ian's contribution a great deal. I always looked forward to hearing what he was doing because, well, not like me, but I aspired to be a bit like him with Linux, and I was always interested in all the crazy things that he was doing and the wild projects he was working on. He really showed. What age was Ian, by the way?
I think he was just about over 70, early 70s. He was also. Do you remember he did the whole Starlink thing? The only person we've ever known that has got that dish and clambering up on scaffolding on his house to put this Starlink thing up because he lived in the middle of nowhere and paid a fortune every month for connectivity by that route.
That's right. Well, I don't mean to sound ageist in any kind of way, but he very much sounded like he was a much younger guy because he was constantly tackling emerging technologies and tinkering and playing because he was a very smart character, so he could manage and grapple with all of these new technologies that were coming out. And even you say a 70-year-old who is using Linux, there are very few of them. Most people over 70 will be asking their grandkids, how do I open Windows, or how do I use this? I can't get my grandmother or my mother to use an iPad effectively, but Ian could wrestle with anything, and he helped you with your Linux Mint machine and things, and getting set up on Linux Mint, which again you are not that great at doing, with all due respect.
No, but he helped me to kind of get there. He would send me SSDs with it all set up. He said, all you've got to do is open up your little mini PC box, put this thing in instead of the other one, and it'll work. And sure enough, it did. So, he was very generous to me, and lovely guy.
Yes, absolutely. And you will be missed, Ian. Thank you for all your contributions and helping this podcast and all the other podcasts be what they are today. Yeah. So Dennis Schreiner has written in on Linux Mint and B-Link, which we discussed, I think, a wee while ago. You were having trouble with your B-Link running Linux Mint, and Dennis has asked.
Yeah, it was really slow.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I have a B-Link with a Ryzen 5800U, and Linux Mint is not running well for me either. I think Mint is the problem since it switched to Ubuntu. Do remember that there is the Debian version of it out there as well. I have since had a lot of performance issues with it. Also, in the top Linux list, it's going downhill.
This is your fault. You put me onto Mint.
I still love Mint. I think Mint is one of the most easiest versions of Linux to use if you don't want to flap about and you just don't want to be on Windows. Dennis goes on to say, I wouldn't now recommend Mint anymore for beginners and low-spec PCs. Since I switched my B-Link to Fedora Linux with KDE Plasma version, it's been very smooth running, and also Fedora's is pretty easy to operate. Bazite and Nobara are also beginner friendly with low spec requirements. I'm enjoying TA. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Dennis. I would agree with you. Yes, Linux Mint I think is pretty much better off on a much bigger system. I bought a wee. I think I said last time the boss game mini PC off of Amazon for it was like £160 or something, and I shoved X Ubuntu on there with Casa OS just to do stuff. And I'm thinking about getting another one and sticking either Bazite or Batacera on there just to have a play with those as well. I actually have another SSD in my computer as well, which has Arc Linux on it, and I've boot into that twice and then boot out of it because it's so damn complicated. It's time, sitting down and spending the time working out how to run these things and get things up and running. That's the hardest thing, and that's why I keep coming back to Linux Mint, because everything pretty much works out of the box. Now, it's not to say that it's compatible with everything, and maybe there is something on the board of the B-Link that Linux Mint isn't optimized to run on, but there are other options. There's the XFCE and the Debian versions of Linux Mint that might be worth trying. Does that make any sense to you, Ted? Or
yeah, it's just interesting that when I switched to my Geekom, it exactly the same, well, pretty much the same specified hardware. I mean, obviously probably different components, different makes inside the box, but it just works perfectly. And when I put Linux Mint on my old laptop, my old Acer Swift 5, again, it works beautifully on there. It's just this one B-Link box, which on paper feels as though it should work fine, but as Dennis has found as well, it just doesn't. So I've no intention of switching to any other Bazite or Nobara, and I shall be sticking with Mint. But it's just interesting to see what's going. We'll come to mini PCs and B-Link again a bit later on in the show.
Well, actually, it's just hit me because I did it a wee while ago to see if I could get something to work. There was a bit of hardware that I was having trouble with. Oh, yes, it was. I bought a Bluetooth 6 dongle without checking to see if it was compatible from Ugreen, and I stuck it in. It wasn't working, so I tried changing around the kernels, which you can do through the update manager, and you can try different kernels that have been released in the past to see whether or not that helps your compatibility. So you could potentially look into that in your update manager. Right. At the top, there is a list of the kernels, and you can try different ones to see if things run better. Other people might suggest, no, don't do that because of this, that, and the other. But just off the top of my head, I haven't thought it through fully, which is par for the course for me. It might help.
On the other hand, what I should really do, because it's completely not needed now, that little B-Link box, is go and experiment with another, with Bazite or Nobara or whatever else is out there, and not just let it sit in the corner or try to make it work with Mint. There's the opportunity to play with something else. So watch this space, I guess.
Well, there's also CachyOS. I'm quite interested in CachyOS as a potential replacement to Linux Mint in the future. Sorry, I've got a tickle at the back of my throat, and it looks like a very nice alternative. I think it's built on.
How do you spell that?
CACHEY, I think.
Cachy.
I'll Google it. I've got Google here.
Oh.
CACHEY. Is it CachyOS?
Cachy. Yeah, there it is. Cachy. I found the pig.
Oh, there's
Cachy 021. Oh, is it? Oh, I must have found something else then.
I'll stick it in. There we go. I'll fire that in. Right. Okay. So that I'm quite interested in that OS. I think it looks like a potential, not potentially quite interesting one. I think it is focused on gaming as well, because that's where a lot of new Linux users are coming from, because they're just so hacked off with Windows. And as soon as they start getting multiplayer Steam gaming and things like that, working on Linux, then I reckon people will be stampeding for Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't do
Cool.
that at the moment. Right, okay.
No.
What's next?
Okay. Oswald C. Gull, which is, I think, how you pronounce his name. He was writing in about his Retroid Pocket Classic little gaming machine thingy. I bought this thinking I'd use it purely for retro gaming, but it's starting to become a favourite overall retro gadget, says Ujwal. Beautiful OLED touchscreen, runs Android 14, Google Play Store is present, Snapdragon G1 Gen 2. Is that right? I don't know. Yeah, I suppose it might, yeah. 128 gigabytes of storage, supported by a micro SD card slot. The icing on the cake, he says, is the headphone jack. I find myself using it to listen to music when I'm away from my phone. The squarish screen is great for watching old 4:3 TV content. And it kind of feels like what Game Boy should have been if it had been released today. I remember using my original PlayStation Portable PSP thingy in the same way when I was younger. Feels like a nostalgic digital detox device, as the screen aspect ratio is awful for anything else like email, WhatsApp or social media apps. So yeah, nice. It looks like it's about mainstream. It looks like it's about £100 for that. But I'm sure you could probably get it cheaper directly or imported. But I'm glad he's enjoying it.
Yeah. These are gorgeous little devices. I've been debating whether or not to get the one of the Retroid Pocket 5. I've had it in my basket a few times. Was it the 5? Yeah, Retroid Pocket 5, yeah. But I haven't gone for it because I know that playing games is something that I'm doing more and more, lesser and lesser these days. But this looks fantastic, and I think it popped up on the new trailer for Banters 42 or whatever it is. I think this might be compatible with Banters, so you can actually expand everything that's in here and bring in a huge amount of support for like DOS games and all sorts of things. It's a really exciting project, that. So, seeing Retroid Pocket devices being able to run all these other flavors of Linux and things like that, that means that they're really exciting play toys for people to actually sit back and enjoy all the more. I'm just having a look at this, the Retroid Pocket Classic handheld on their website, goretroid.com, and there's a colorant that evokes the original Game Boy as well, with the white chassis and the red A, B, X, Y buttons. It looks gorgeous. Would you ever consider one of these, Tedley Deadly?
I don't. The on the original Game Boy, there was only 4 buttons there, A, B, X, Y, but they've got a C and a Z. So presumably, although no, do they look as though they're slightly away from the 4? Anyway, the colouring of the buttons is done differently as well, because the A, B, C is black and the X, Y, Z are grey. And yeah, it all just looks a bit different. Oh, on the colour one, you've got colours, haven't you, for those buttons?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Okay. There's a different configuration. You can either have it with, A, B, X, Y buttons. There's 4 of them, or you can have it with 6 buttons.
Oh yeah,
which is A, B, C, X, Y, Z. So that'll be more compatible with Mega Drive games and things. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
And obviously the triggers on the back. You've got L1 and L2. R1 and R2 on the back, which allows you to be compatible with Xbox games and things and PlayStation.
It comes in lots of colours as well. There's about 6 or 7 different colours. There's 7 different colours. So it's all very cheerful and bright. And yeah, they're showing it at $129. But I'm sure you can probably find it. That shop Game is shut down now, isn't it? You won't get it there.
No, you can.
But
it still exists. It's in the back of Sports Direct or something like that.
Oh, okay.
They've got 2 shelves, which are games.
Anyway, thanks very much for your thoughts, Urgewall, and glad you're enjoying it. For other stuff as well, I think I'd have a go at looking at other apps on it and trying to make it work, even if the screen is square. We've had square screens before, like on some of the Android BlackBerry devices. Yeah, they were even after BlackBerry OS went away, we still had squarish screens on those, and on the Titan. We had a squarish screen, and actually there's a new Titan coming out any minute, which is going to have similarly squarish screen. Anyway, yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, look forward to that in a future show. Okay, into the news. We're going to start with Honor, because Honor has teased the Honor Magic Pad 3 Pro, which is a new tablet that features 13.3 inch 3.2K, that's 3200 by 2136 pixels, 165 hertz LCD display. It's got a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 system on chip and a 12,450 milliamp hour battery. The device is going to run their Magic OS 10, which has the support cross ecosystem for data transfer between iOS, Android, and Harmony OS, which is what everybody needs. And it includes a smart touch keyboard, a free-form stylus. Don't know what that means. And an Honor E2 energy efficient chip. It will be available in 3 colours and feature IMAX enhanced branding and dual rear cameras. That's pretty good. The tablet is expected to launch in October, of which we are currently in, alongside the Honor Magic 8 series of phones. Ted, would you be excited by this Honor Magic Pad 3 Pro?
In principle, only because I've got an Honor 400 Pro phone on the go at the moment, and it'll be quite interesting to see Magic OS 10, which has not dropped on the phone yet. My concerns are a few. I was watching Techspert last night, and he's got one of these in, and he was reviewing it, and he had similar concerns. Firstly, it's got an LCD screen, and for this kind of money, which it looks like being about 600 or 700 quid, I think. They're going to be, it should really be an OLED panel, frankly. We're not quite sure why they have not done that, but that would have been nicer. But apart from that, Magic OS is really nice, and some of the ways in which they've enhanced Magic OS to work with the landscape screen is nice, and connectivity with other devices, as you said, that all looks nice. Another concern, however, again, which is one he raised, is that there's Honor are keeping tight-lipped about the amount of support they're giving it, which on the face of it depends on where you are in the world, but we're hoping that in Europe and the UK they're going to do the 4 updates and 6 years of security, but they haven't actually said that. They've not said that they're going to do that. And if you buy this in the Far East, the standard is 1 update or 2 at the most if you're lucky. And Honor, for all the clever stuff they're involved with at the moment, they just seem to be lagging behind in realising that these longer updates are important. Motorola's got there, and OnePlus, the BBK groups, they seem to have got there. But Huawei / Honor maybe not quite there. And when they do get there, they're just doing it to comply with EU regulations, not because they think it's a good idea. See what I mean?
I do, yes, and I think it's particular for tablets, because tablets do tend to get forgotten about. Phones do get more updates and things like that, and there's a lot more commitment than things announced for phones. But tablets are almost like we'll have to just shove something out in time for Christmas, and forget about it in the new year. So you might get one if you're lucky. Of which this is obviously going to suffer. But do you think it's a bit strange that they have put on dual rear cameras with the IMAX enhanced branding?
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? Although on the phone there's a camera which is just for depth sensing, On tablets, routinely, they kind of put cameras on the back for scanning documents and stuff like that, but it looks a bit more enhanced than that, doesn't it? I fail to see the point of, particularly on a 13.3-inch tablet, you're not going to take it anywhere, are you? It's going to be staying at home, or at the absolute most, it's going to be in your briefcase or bag. Incidentally, the keyboard looks quite nice, that he was showing off with it. And the stylus, freeform, I don't know what that means either, but it didn't stick. Oh, maybe it's freeform in that it unlike Samsung tablets, it doesn't stick anywhere on the device. There's one magnet, I think. Yeah, one magnet on the top, and that's it.
Losable.
Well, I think it's more about charging. You've got to charge it separately.
Right.
Or with a Samsung tablet, you stick it on the back, as you know, and it charges the S Pen. But anyway, I just feel that Honor have got a way to go still. They need to buck their ideas up.
Yeah. Do we have a price on this? Or
I think it's about six. Yeah, I think it's going to be £600 and £700. There's not actually an official word on it yet, I don't think, but I think it's going to be in that territory. And for that, in that price bracket, as I say, I think an OLED panel should have been the thing. And the LCD is a good panel. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure that it'll be very, very good for use at home and all the rest of it. But yeah, OLED is just better, isn't it?
It is, and that's what you're paying for, that kind of money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously, one of the biggest, most dominant news stories at the moment is what's happening over at Xbox and Microsoft, because Xbox has increased the price of its Game Pass Ultimate subscription by 50%, which is raising it from it's raising it to $22.99 here in the UK. I think it's $30. Over in America, and I think it's even more in Brazil. I think it's gone up 100% in Brazil, which is strange. Don't quote me on that, but I saw something about that at the bottom of an article. And it's led to a surge of users who have been trying to cancel the subscription and actually killing the website that you use to cancel it. It's gone down, which is not exactly the best thing to be happening whenever people are angry and wanting their money back. However, the cancellation page obviously crashed due to the high traffic, and the price hike has sparked confusion in the gaming community, especially as the Xbox's pricing strategy seems to be becoming more expensive overall, with hardware services like ROG, Xbox Ally X, also seeing significant price increases too. It's actually coming to the point where certain large American retailers are no longer going to be stocking Xbox hardware, which is somewhat devastating to the large American company, where you'll be able to go and buy PlayStations left, right, and centre. For a long time, I think Xbox Game Pass has been considered one of the best value options out there for people who want to pay for a game streaming platform, and not actually have to go out and buy original games. So this is pretty devastating that way, and it's understandable. I can see where, I think it was even back whenever Starfield, I think, was being released, and they were trying to. There was a lot of talk about how that game is not going to make back as much money, because no one on the Xbox or even the PC, I think, would potentially buy the full priced game, because you can get it for, what was it, about $10 or $15 on the streaming option, and then play it and then cancel once you're either bored with it or work out that it's crap. Unlike other people who go out and stump up the $70 or $80 for it and then take it home and then realize it's crap. But they maybe play it long enough to justify keeping it or whatever. So, I think Call of Duty, Battlefield 6 just came out, and I think it's been considered a bit of a flop because it hasn't done that well, because it's gone out on on Game Pass for everyone who has Game Pass. So it's not going to make back a huge amount of money because no one's buying it. It's a strange thing, it really is, and I think it's going to show that people are tired of these streaming things and not actually owning anything. And I know that there's the whole argument that if you buy something on Steam, you don't actually own it. You're buying a license to use it for as long as it lasts. And one day, if Steam ever goes away, you will no longer own any of the games or have any of those games that were available to you, and people will be rightfully annoyed about that. But that's been well publicized now. People who are cancelling this Game Pass, and I actually cancelled my PlayStation 1 or PlayStation Online thing quite recently as well, the Essential bundle that I paid for. And you've got nothing to show for it. You've got no games in your library other than stuff that you've managed to accrue from freebies or whatever, or anything that you've happened to buy because it's been cheap enough. So you end up with a games console with no games. And that's what people are going to do. And I think that's what Microsoft is relying on here, is being able to push prices up whenever there's no... That people are going to have no games if they cancel it. So we'll see what happens over the next month or two to see if Microsoft decide to go back and look at the value again. It is notable that this is the high end, the ultimate tier has gone up in price beyond value for money, whereas the other two tiers that they have are continuing to be fairly good value for money. So it's not as devastating as it is, but people who are on the ultimate tier are really annoyed and just showing their annoyance by cancelling as opposed to dropping back to one of the cheaper options. Ted, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, but Brian does. Brian in the comments on this website, he makes a fairly good point, which is that if you play a lot of games, then even at $30 a month, even though it's gone up and it sticks in the throat sort of thing, it's still quite good value for money because you can dip in and out and play what you like and get, like you said, get bored with things, move on. If you buy one $70 game per month, you're spending a lot more than you would even at $30 a month than you would with Game Pass, and your options are open. So, Brian does have a point there, which is it might sound expensive because it's leapt up. But hang on a minute, because there's quite a lot of value for those that are going to use it and push it and use it while it's available. As you say, it's effectively digital renting. But there you go. The other thing is that I guess will Microsoft argue that this is to do with tariffs, or does tariffs not apply to software? Is it only hardware? I don't know what the nitty gritty is on that.
It could be. I haven't looked into that to see why they're doing this. I think it's just everything's going up, so we may as well put ours up as well. But I think that most people who are affected by this and really cheesed off by it should really start taking a look at GeForce Now, because that might give those people a bit more of an option, because they've packaged together some pretty good value in the GeForce Now. If game streaming is the way you want to do it, if you don't want to go out and buy your games, you should really pledge your allegiance to the companies that are trying to make it more affordable and not taking the piss or taking the opportunity to price gouge whenever they could. And I know there's an awful lot going on behind the scenes, but ultimately it is down to what's in people's pockets, and they everything else is going up. So you've got to figure out what's your priority. The PlayStation.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
It looks like it's about £10 a month for the GeForce thingy. For the not, there's a free version, but the first paid one is £99 a year.
Yeah, and you can rent hardware, 50, 80 GPUs to run your your games online so that they look even prettier.
Right.
Which some people may say, well, what? But yeah, it does. You can pay for the detail level to be increased because it requires a much bigger server to run the latest game and look as pretty as possible. So that's one option, and also it's available on every platform essentially. Like they made Xbox Game Pass, so anyone who has hardware that runs Xbox Game Pass can get GeForce Now. So show them what you want to be paying by going to the competitor that has the cheaper prices. That's the best way to tell them in this capitalistic society
Indeed.
that we have today.
Yeah.
All right. So, from one big company to another, Amazon has recently unveiled a range of its new hardware devices, including the latest Kindle Scribe series, which features an 11-inch display, improved front light system, and an AI-powered tools for productivity. The company has also introduced advanced ring security devices with 4K imaging and AI features like retinal vision and search party, which I should have looked into because I'm not curious as to what that is. As
That
well.
is, I'll tell you. I'll tell
Okay.
you what Search Party is. It's a method by which you can team up with your neighbours. If your pet gets lost or your child gets lost, you can hook into all your neighbours' houses' cameras, and you can then use much more than just your own to try and organise a search party to find someone.
Oh right, okay. So you could potentially say, oh, the lady at number 33, she's hot. So can we do a search party for when she's out sunning herself during the summer? Okay, very interesting.
Yes.
So yeah, there's Amazon has also announced upgraded Echo and Alexa devices, including the Echo Dot Matrix, or sorry, Dot Max. Got my technologies mixed up there, and redesigned the Echo Studio along with the Blink cameras, offering 2K resolution and smart monitoring features. These updates aim to enhance the user's experience with smarter, more connected home technologies. Ain't that nice? Any exciting stuff there that would make you want to
Not fall
leap
asleep.
into the Amazon ecosystem? Because Blink cameras are generally thought of as being pretty good, as
I
is Ring
don't
doorbell.
personally. I don't personally have a need for cameras or ring doorbells or Amazon Fire Sticks, which block out the stuff that I want to use from Google. Tablets that block out the stuff I want to use from Google. Echoes and displays that block out the stuff I want to use from Google. I do get that if you want to launch yourself into Amazon's little world, then great, and I'm sure this stuff is really good. But I just don't have the only interesting thing to me here is the new Kindle Scribe that's got a colour screen, and it's got various enhancements from the last generation with colour for one thing. Oh no, sorry, the last generation had colour, but this is better colour,
Oh,
and it's
better color.
faster. And the apparently the screen that you write on feels more like paper than ever before, and blah blah blah, and yeah, I quite like the idea of that. But what really annoys me about it is you can't get all the other e-ink readers, which we'll come to in a minute. Well, no, actually, not all of them. A large amount of the Chinese ones have got Android on them, and so you can access the Play Store and use other, for example, on a Kindle Scribe, I can't get to all the books I've got in Google Play Books. That's
Mm.
it. They're all gone. You can't use them. And so, clever and lovely as the Kindles are, you again, you've got to bake yourself into their world and use all their stuff, and they're ring fencing their customer base,
Yeah,
which I think is a shame.
it is absolutely yes, and it's always a big consideration when buying into a company. I think the one thing that really saves Amazon is the fact that I think most consumers will wait until Prime Day sales or whatever and go and grab all of the technology, because the Amazon technology on those days just works out so cheap, and they can upgrade all of their hardware quite easily. Whereas if you buy into Google or Apple or whatever, and try to keep yourself up to date, it's an expensive operation. Amazon has the ability to be able to cut that down to make sure that people
Yeah.
do have
Yep.
really good deals when it comes to changing
Yep.
their hardware.
Yeah, totally. I get that, and it's really well priced, and you just need to kind of get baked into it. And there are workarounds, like using a tablet by getting the Play Store on it, but every time it updates, you've got to kind of go and do it again, and it's just like, oh, for goodness sake, I can't be bothered with this. Just give me something simple. But yes, if you're in the Amazon world, and particularly if you're paying them for Prime services anyway, then I guess you might as well think about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I'm going to ask you to do now, Ted, is here is my hand. I would like you to take me through the changes Google has made to its Home and Google One subscription plans, because, well, I'm confused.
Everyone's confused, I think, and they don't really. In the UK, if we talk about the UK, they seem to be taking the one plan apart, and when previously they bundled Fitbit Premium and Nest Aware and other stuff into the one subscription, they're pulling them apart and taking them apart. The Google One's 2 terabyte plan used to include those two, and they're now going to cost separately $8 a month. And the point is that the one plan is not going down; it's going up. Typically, people that are on the plan, they're going to be increasing their monthly subscription overall to £18.99 to get the stuff they need. Some people that want the whole package are going to be up to $30. It's a bit like we were saying before about Microsoft. Really, it's like they're just compartmentalizing things here, and they're picking them apart, and they're just charging the user even more. Now, I'm not a home user, as you know. I'm not quite sure about the implications of the home stuff, but I am a Google One user, and I don't have the 2 terabyte plan, but I understand it. That is going up, and they're stripping out some of the components, and you'll have to buy them separately. And particularly in the UK, that's going to be going up and changing, and users are going to be paying more. I currently pay £1.59 for my 100 gigabyte a month. Oh no, sorry, 100 gigabytes of storage. And that's all I pay. I'm all right because I don't use Nest Aware and I don't use Fitbit Premium. But if you're really balls deep into Google services, and you do all this stuff, a bit like we were saying with Amazon just now. With Amazon, as you say, if you are baked into what they're doing, it doesn't cost you so much. But these other companies are just increasing their prices. On Tech Talk UK last week, track that down because Richard Yates has a big old rant about this whole topic, and Google basically just being greedy and cutting things apart and just charging people more. And it's just annoying when one of the richest, I suppose, the richest companies in the world, but that's how they stay rich, I suppose, is by just getting more and more money out of people. Very annoying, naughty Google.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually, whilst you were saying that, I just went in and had a look at my Google One to see what I have, because I prepaid, what was it, 2 or 3 months ago, for Google One for the year, and I was wondering,
Right.
have they just cut what I have, what I paid for, without telling me? Because I know.
Not yet. This is not happening until next year.
Yeah. Well, I'm just your current benefits. There are 5 benefits available. There's the Fitbit Premium subscription, but that's not a benefit. That allows me to go and take out the Fitbit Premium subscription if I click on it. Oh no, it says Open Fitbit. Okay.
No, that's included. At the moment, you get that in the plan, and that's the whole point. Is that next year when they implement these changes, it will no longer be included. Now, you probably don't use Fitbit Premium like me, but for someone that does, it's different, isn't it?
Well, I'm actually noticing I've got 4 terabytes of storage, which I didn't realize. I thought it was 2 terabytes.
I see. There isn't a 4 terabyte plan. I don't know where you've got that from. Which is one of the arguments that people have is that there's nothing between 2 terabytes and 10 terabytes. And also, the other bit I forgot to mention is that they're trying to get people to sign up to Google AI Pro. And the AI Pro encompasses all this stuff again. And I dread to think how much. I haven't checked to see how much AI Pro is, but that's going to be a whole bunch of money, isn't it? AI Pro. Here it is, AI Pro. £120 for 3 months. So that's the old $18.99 a month for the basic plan. For 2 terabytes. If you want the 30 terabyte, the Ultra, it's £235 a month.
Wow.
But the basic plan is $18.99 a month, which we've known about for some time. While they bake in the clever AI stuff, but I think you need to be careful. Those people that are mine's $15.99 a year for 100 gigabytes because I don't really use it. But your 2 terabytes, where have you got 4 terabytes from? I don't get that at all.
No, it says here you've got 4 terabytes of storage. Your storage is shared across Google Photos, Google Drive, and Gmail. I'm currently using 192.4 gigabytes of my 4 terabytes used.
There's none. There isn't one. If you look at the plan page,
Yeah.
it goes from 2. Oh, there is a 5 terabyte now. I don't think that was there before.
There is.
So you got 2 terabytes, or 5, or 10, 20, 30, 30. Yeah, but not 4.
Don't know. I'll send you a screenshot so you know I'm not lying.
Yeah, I know your sort. You're a lying swine.
No,
Maybe it's something you've had some offer. Perhaps you had 2 terabytes and they gave you a special offer to have another 2 terabytes for a year on top.
Oh, I don't know about. Well, maybe, possibly, because I bought.
Because you
the
bought a
12
Chromebook or
months.
something.
No, because before
no.
I had to upgrade, because it was really doing my head in having the free plan, and having, well, I think I had like 10 gigabytes plus. There was 7 gigabytes of add-ons that I'd got, from whenever they were doing that, share Google Drive, and you'll get people to sign up, and you'll get a little bit of extra storage and things like that. So I have something like 17 or 19 gigabytes whenever I go back to the free plan. And that just wasn't enough. I kept running out of space. Anytime I went on holiday or something like that and took some 4K videos, they would upload automatically to Google Photos, and I'd have to go in because I was getting plagued with annoying notifications that I've run out of space on my Google Drive. And I'm like, oh, piss. So I went and thought, should I get the 100 gigabytes? My wife has that and she's running out, so I just went and got 2 terabytes. But it says today it's 4 terabytes.
Yeah, that's really odd. Don't know.
Well,
they're all after your money anyway. The point of the story is that they are unscrupulously next year going to be hiking prices like Microsoft have with their game thingy. So watch out. Everyone's just hiking prices.
There you go. I've put in a screenshot. I have 4 terabytes of storage. See, I'm not.
Right, let's have a look at your screenshot. You have, yeah. I've got instead the 100 gigabytes that I have got. I've actually got 127 or something. So that they do bolt things on when you've taken special offers or whatever. You're quite right. So maybe you just had that somewhere along the line, yeah.
Yeah, peculiar. Don't understand it. I could understand maybe if I had a Pixel or something, or. But no, just Google being weird. All right, Pebble. Pebble is.
Oh, you had a Pixel before, didn't you? When
Years ago.
you had a Pixel before, yeah, years ago. But it wasn't one of the ones that you got photo storage for life on it.
No,
And so
no, it wasn't.
no,
I was
okay.
really annoyed about that because it went. Whenever I cancelled my Google Drive or Google One last year, I didn't have any storage really outside of the free stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So Pebble
Fair
is
enough.
making a comeback with the launch of its new devices, the Pebble 2 Duo and Pebble Time 2, which are expected to be available fairly soon. The company is also reviving its App Store to allow users of older Pebble watches to access thousands of apps and plans to expand the library over time. Developers can now submit their apps for free, and new features like link previews and app recommendations have been added as well. While the hardware is taking shape, the focus remains on building a strong software ecosystem to ensure Pebble's long-term success. And pre-ordered customers should expect to receive their devices fairly shortly, with the Pebble Time 2 to arrive in early 2026, which isn't fairly shortly. That's like a quarter of a year away. So Pebble was bought by Google, wasn't it?
Was it?
I thought
I've forgotten
was.
that. Hmm.
Did they not buy it just
If
before
it
they started launching their own smartwatches?
did they? I've forgotten that. If that's true. The interesting thing, while you look that up, the interesting thing about this is, for me, is this is exactly what you remember on this very show a while ago. I was banging on about the Motorola Watch Fit, which I got in, and it works beautifully well. It's not technically a smartwatch. It's kind of half dumb. And this is exactly what Motorola need to do with that watch, is to have a little app store where you can download different apps instead of the only way you can change the thing is to change some faces, and the watch faces are very limited on the thing. But if they had a little app store like Pebble are doing here, that would be great. It doesn't need to be Wear OS. It's fine to keep it fairly dumb, but just have some back boys in a Lenovo Roller studio somewhere putting together some sort of little apps like these, like a calendar or a stopwatch, or just some stuff. I'm very impressed with what Pebble are doing here, and I can't remember, to be honest, what the difference between the Duo and the Time 2 are, but it does look nice, and it looks very much like the Motorola watch actually, but it's much nicer. And I can't even remember how much they're charging. Can you remember how much they're charging?
No, it was about $150 for a Pebble, wasn't it, back in the day?
Was it? Oh, right, okay. Anyway, have you found out yet?
Well, yes, actually, yes. Google acquired Fitbit in 2021, which owned the rights to Pebble's operating system brands and designs. In January
Right.
2025, Google announced that it was going to open source the operating system for Pebble smartwatches.
Oh, yeah.
And in March 25, new devices were announced and would be produced using Pebble OS by a new company, Core Devices. Right. Okay. So
Cool.
yeah, they're open source software then on there. So grand. Okay.
I do remember. I remember the Pebble watches being really basic and not very great. But these are colour now, full colour by the looks of it. And that little app store, I think, will make a real difference. They used to have that before, apparently, but it looks like it's been hugely expanded. I like this. Well done, Pebble.
Yes. No, I'm quite excited by these as well. I do like the idea of just having something that's straightforward and to the point and doesn't. It's not a full computer on your arm that's tracking your blood pressure and stuff like that, like the Apple Watches and some of the bigger Android watches too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that about brings us to the end of the news. And Ted, you wanted to have a wee bit of a chit chat about books, e-readers.
The Remarkable Paper Pro Move, which was released recently, and it's now on sale at Amazon for £439, or from Remarkable themselves, which is frustratingly nice looking. It's a dinky little notepad. So the Remarkable, the big one, is a thing you put on your desk. It's like bigger than A4, I think. But this is a dinky little notepad. It comes with a stylus, with a pen, called the Marker Plus. And if you've got big pockets or you wear cargo trousers, it'll fit in your pocket. Some people have been trying to put them into jeans pockets in the back, but they do kind of stick out. But it's a lovely little dinky device. You can hold it in one hand. Well, I can with my size of my hand. And comes with a pen, scribe on it. It works very much like the way that the Remarkable paper, sorry, the bigger Remarkables do. And it's all very smart. It's got colour in it. Lovely screen that feels like writing on paper more than ever. And it's just really lovely. The downside, though, there's two downsides. One is that you can't hook up a Bluetooth keyboard to it, apparently. So you're lost on that one if you want to actually make it a desktop solution. But I think that they're aiming that people will have these in their pockets more than anything. And the other downside is that Remarkable, again, like I was saying just now about Kindle, don't have Google Play Store on it. You can't put it on. Well, I don't know of a way. Maybe some hacky bloke or person can do. But a companion device for a laptop or even a phone gives you more space. Make your notes. I like this idea. And I think it's better in many ways than the books devices or the Vywoods or whatever else you fall upon out there, because they're not locked down into the kind of Chinese stuff. I had the Big Me phone out again last night, and I fired it up, and it's just so littered with Chinese stuff everywhere. And it's not been globalized properly. With this kind of thing from Remarkable, I have 100% confidence that it'll be globalized, it'll work properly. It won't be littered with Chinese stuff or making you try and interpret things on it. It'll be done properly and it'll work properly, and that's probably why it costs more money. And I really fancy one, but I, apart from the cost of it, of course, I shy away because I can't get my Google stuff on it. Remarkable, open it up.
Ted, it's £439.
I know, that's what I said at the beginning. That the price is the Remarkable full size one is like £600 and £700. So in terms of their pricing structure, it's not outrageous. It's in keeping with that. It's smaller, but yeah, you're right. In terms of, it's the same price as a Kindle Scribe. It's more than a books device of similar capability, but it's not outrageously priced. I don't think it's in there with the pack. Yes, it's a bit more than you could pay, but as I say, Remarkable stuff is really good.
Yeah, I picked up a black and red notebook for £1, and it's got I think there's probably about 100 pages in there, and it comes with a pen in the spine. And I have another one here as well from a local housing company that was free. And
yeah, you can do.
It's got a bit of elastic on the top there that holds it closed, and there's a bookmark as well. That's significantly less than £439. I thought you were going to tell me that this does amazing massages or something, or it turns into I don't know, some sort of
you obviously don't know what e-readers cost and what e-readers. This is not an outrageous price for a e-reader electronic note. Compared to what the other ones cost, it really is not.
£1 for 100 pages.
It's not electronic though, is it?
No, but I'm quite happy to make that sacrifice at £438
Anyway,
less.
there are other ways of note taking, like the Rocket Book and smart devices like that, where the pen is the smart bit, and you can buy into taking photographs of notepads and syncing with some apps. But anyway, if you look at some of the reviews online of the remarkable stuff, not just this little 7-inch one, but the original ones as well, they stand apart. They really do look the part, and people that have reviewed them, and people that I've known that have reviewed them and had them. Richard Yates comes to mind again. He's had these all the way down the line from the first generation, and he thinks they're absolutely wonderful. And I agree. I think they're nice. But yes, they're not cheap.
No, they're not. Well, okay. Well, no, I can't make any comments. I buy weird stuff that people will go, "What the hell are you doing?" I just spent £50 on a box set of Possession starring Sam Neill, which is a great horror film. So I throw my money down the toilet in some people's eyes. But yeah. No, I would say that a good alternative to this might be just to go to Black and Red and spend £1 on something that you're going to use for a while.
You're missing the point. Move on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, I suppose I could have a wee bit of a gripe about... I haven't done too much research into it. It happened at the time. And I know I sent you a couple of messages about it, Ted, because I was a bit furious. But I did want to ask the question, what do you think has happened to duty free? I went to America thinking, well, what I could do. Because one time when I went to America years ago, I bought an Arcos... Oh, I can't remember what it's actually... I have it here. In this drawer. It was the Arcos 9. It was a Windows 7 starter SNPC. It was a touchscreen tablet-y type thing that didn't work very well. Had terrible battery life. Had an Atom processor inside it. I don't know if you remember these things coming out, but I was dead excited about this. 1.3 megapixel camera on the front. I still have it beside me, but it doesn't work. I don't know what happened to it. It just won't boot up, and I've got a couple of different batteries and they won't charge and stuff. But there's a port down there. I didn't know there was a port down there. Right? I wonder what that's for. That looks interesting. Might be an HDMI. But I can't get that back on again. But I'll pretend that I did and put it back in the drawer. And never speak of it again. I purchased that going through duty free. I'm pretty sure it was in Dublin Airport actually. I'd watched them arrive online, and it was about $200 cheaper than it was online. And I thought, I'll have one of those, and that'll help me through my holiday and have something to play with. And I did that. I was really chuffed with it. And I was traveling through the same airport 2 weeks ago, and I thought, well, because I'm heading out to the States, I do fancy a wee pair of Sony XM6s, because they are quite expensive. I think they're $499 off of Amazon, and Prime Day was happening as well. So I was like, what's the best opportunity here? What should I buy? And I went into the duty free going out from Dublin, and then again I was flying back home through JFK, and I went and I compared the prices, and there's absolutely no saving whatsoever. In fact, it would have worked out to be more expensive, because one of the things that I did buy, because I was buying some gifts, whenever I went to pay for it, there was some thing that popped up on the payment system that said, if you want to pay for this in Great British pounds, you will have to pay an extra 6% of the value in order to get that. And I asked the girl what that meant, and she was like, I don't know, I haven't seen that before. Most people usually just pay in dollars. It's like, right, okay, well, I don't know what this is, and it's not telling me. There's no sort of asterisks, and then, because it's on the payment terminal, it's on the wee screen. And I just thought, screw it, I'm not paying an extra 6% on this crap, on something. I don't know if it's a tariff or if it's a duty. that has been added on to this in duty free. So I took a dander around and started looking at all the products and working them out. And I think I sent you a message saying Toblerone works out to be £7 here. Whereas if you walk into Tesco, you can buy a large bar of Toblerone for £4 or £5. What am I paying for? What is duty free now? It's nowhere near as good as it used to be. Have you had any experience at duty free recently? Is it just me?
No, I haven't. I can't contribute to this conversation because the last time I went to an airport was in about 1990, so I'm a bit lost on this. But is part of it to do with you going to America, and so the shops inside airports, even though they're not in America, are they still subject to the tariff thingy going on again? Is that something that could have recently changed because of that?
I don't know. I don't understand enough about this, and no one was able to explain it to me until I remembered about it this morning. I suppose I could maybe ask my brother. He's quite clever about those sorts of things. But it's a real annoyance, and I don't see how you go through your international boarding and things like that, and then through the what do you call it, where you did passport security and all that kind of stuff, and then you enter into the international lounge, essentially, where all the international flights go out from, and that's where you're supposed to get your duty free because the taxes aren't paid. And actually, whenever I was coming back through JFK, they did it in such a weird way where I bought my wife some makeup, and this is not tech related, but I'll make it tech related. It was special makeup that turns her into a cyborg if she puts it on her face. It's castor oil. That's what it was. So I bought her that makeup, and I went through to buy it, and she said, "Now, if I give it to you now, you will have to pay the tax on it. But if you get it, we'll deliver it to the plane and you can collect it as you're boarding the plane." Oh, right, okay. And then you don't pay the tax. Oh, right, fair enough.
Bonkers.
Well, I'll do that then. And it worked out to be £66 as opposed to £88 or something like that, or $88, I don't know, whatever. And then I went down to the plane and it wasn't fucking there. Well, and I was really annoyed because I was about to step onto the plane. I was like, oh yeah, my duty free, where's that? Because I bought two things. The one for my son was there, but the one for my wife wasn't. And I was like, oh, could it not have been the other way round? Oh, flip. And I'm about to get on the plane. I can't do anything about it. Complain about this. The only thing I can do is phone up in a couple of days and get a refund because I didn't get it, which I eventually did. Because I've got the receipt here. Actually, it was $80. It was Moisture Surge Ultra Hydrations, $86, and that worked out as £66. A tax at 8.875% was zero, but there was a 3% surcharge. I don't know what that 3% surcharge was for. But yeah,
somebody bringing it to the plane.
Technology used to be a thing that really benefited from duty free. I remember going out to Dixon's actually in Heathrow because they were announcing this huge expansion where they were going to be doing camera lenses, and people would fly in from far off, and the savings that they were making on these massive expensive camera lenses were going to be huge. You get 30% off, or you don't pay tax on it if you're buying it through there, and you could end up saving thousands of dollars. So people would actually fly in for a day just to be able to buy a lens and then get back on a plane and fly out again. I
it's
can't
a booze
imagine
cruise
that exists anymore.
It's just like the booze cruise, isn't it? You just get on a boat. It doesn't even land in France, and you just come back. But because they've gone into the territory, you get the duty free. I do agree. Back in the day, and I remember that whole Dixon's thing as well. But back in the day, we used to get really cheap fags and booze and
Yeah.
typically. I mean, I haven't been to America ever, but certainly going to France, it would be well worth doing. And I remember buying a camera duty free from Dixon's, and I saved a load of money doing that in Gatwick or wherever it was. And yeah, I think it's just changing, and I've no idea why. I guess people are just being greedy. A captive audience in an airport, perhaps.
Well, yes, I think that is the big thing, and the nature of it. You just think that you're maybe making a big saving when you're not really. You're maybe making a small saving. Although in saying that, the item that I did. No, I didn't get the same thing whenever I came back here. It was £90 for something similar, as opposed to $86. So taking in the conversion rate and things like that, I still would have saved a decent amount of money and actually got her something that she really wanted, as opposed to running to Gordon's chemist and picking up something that would suffice. Yeah. Anyway, I think duty free is. Maybe I'm using it wrong. Maybe other people can enlighten me and say that it is great if you're doing this or you're particularly looking for that. And I didn't find the whiskey prices particularly good either.
Or maybe if you're not involving America in the process.
Well, it shouldn't matter where you're going.
But well, as I was saying earlier about this whole tariff thing, that even though the shop is not in America, if you're going to America, maybe I don't know. It's just that it was the fact that you were going to America, and if you've been going to Bulgaria, maybe it would have been different. I don't know.
I don't think so, no, because the international lines, you've got flights going all over. The flight next to the one I was boarding for was going to Warsaw in Poland, and then the one on the other side might be going to Mozambique or somewhere like that. So they still have the same deals available to them when they're getting on those planes. Anyway, I think duty free is maybe a lost cause.
You know what? You know what's going to happen now. We can rely on our lovely listeners to tell us all the ins and outs about this. This is one of the topics, no doubt. We'll get loads of response on. So watch that space.
Okay. In saying that, we'll probably get nothing. But instead of buying from duty free, what you could do is have listen to our little collection of discovered bargains that we've found. That might save you a wee bit of money here and there. And the first one I'm going to go with is one that I'm incredibly excited about because, and this has happened in the past, I added it to my basket to send to me in Northern Ireland, and it didn't have an issue with it. I think that there might be something changing about us Northern Irish people being able to order power banks and battery related items off of Amazon. They might have fixed it. I can only hope. Fingers crossed. It might be a blip, but you never know. This is the Anchor charger.
Hang on a minute, because there's no battery in that thing, is there?
No.
The battery's on the thing you put on top of it.
It is, but whenever you click on the battery, it's not saying, I can't buy this.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm going with this deal because it is a good deal for someone who wants one of these, but it opens up the whole idea of charging power banks and things like that. This one doesn't, as you say, have the power bank included. This is the Anchor charging base for the 100-watt fast charging 4-port Anchor Prime power bank compatible thing. This is what you set in your desk, and you put their big power bank on top of. And it's got a bunch of little ports as well around it so that it becomes useful. But it's down from £70 to £40. So you could have it there, and then you can have an alternate one. You can have one up in your office or whatever, or in a different room if you need to charge your device. Not that you're going to run out of power that quickly with these Anchor devices, but it just seemed like a nice little deal. And if I click on the appropriate battery, the laptop power, it's £65.99, which is down from £90. So I could buy the two of them together for about £90, and they will ship to Northern Ireland, which is incredible.
Right, letting you make sure it's the one that does go on that base though, because I think only some of them do.
Okay.
It's got to have the pogo pin holes on the bottom of it.
Yeah. But imagine someone
So
who's going
just
to be buying one of these. Is that the one, the Anchor Power Bank 2400 3-port jobby? I can't remember. But yeah, this is just for the base, which is down to 40 quid if you've been looking to buy one of the bases. There you go. From 70.
I'm trying to find the. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I couldn't find it either.
yeah, okay. Right, talking of power options, the InU, which we bought one of these power banks years ago, and it's still going, works really well. This is an updated one with lots of USB-C stuff going on as well. 27,000 milliamp hours storage, 140 watt output maximum. Of course, you don't get that if you put lots of things in it, but if you just put one thing in it, you get 140 watts out. And yeah, 27,000 milliamp hours portable thingy, and they're really nifty and nice. And this, it's got a nice display on it. And the one that we've got here has been, as I say, must be 5 years old, and it's still going well. This one's been reduced from 100 quid to 50 quid, although the usual price is 80 quid. But even so, it's a bit of a saving. And yeah, the inner use stuff seems to be quite nice. I've got various bedside Qi chargers, wireless chargers for my phones made by InIU, and they all work beautifully well.
Yeah, and they ship to Northern Ireland. Oh,
hey, they've obviously changed something, haven't they?
Well, I do remember it happening once before, and whenever I put something into my basket and went to purchase it, at the very last moment it went, oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But there's another NEU one there that looks quite good as well. The 100 watt, 25,000 milliamp hour. It's a lot smaller, and you can actually get it for £16.97 for a month for 3 months. It's down from £70 to £50.91. It's not as big a saving as the one you got there, but it has monthly payments on it, which makes it a wee bit more attractive to some if you're available or able to avail of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right. Okay. Next up is the Govee outdoor projector. Now, I know these look like real tatty stuff, but I think they're kind of fun around Halloween. This is an outdoor projector, laser and aurora light projector that you peg in your garden, and it'll display scenes on your house to make it look spooky at Halloween.
That's very funny.
Christmassy, or just to annoy your neighbours. Which would be...
You no longer need to decorate your house, do you?
No, you just walk outside, plug this in, and away you go. And it works with Alexa and Google Assistant. It's Matter compliant, so you can ask it to change things on the fly, and it's down from £100 to £55 and 40p. I know some people will scoff at that, but... If decorating your house and your garden is your thing, this might actually work for you.
Very cool.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's very funny. Yeah, I fancy one of those. I just need a house then. Right, next up is 2 items from Nothing. The Nothing Headphone 1, which came out not that long ago at 299 quid, is now reduced to 212. That's the first time I've seen that reduced. That's that kind of quirky, wonky looking design headphone, which is, I think it's actually quite nice. But anyway, they've reduced. And also the Nothing Phone 3A, which is arguably, apart from not having Qi charging, I think one of the better options in the Nothing range in terms of price. Even better now, reduced from £379 to £305. That's for the 256 gigabyte storage, 305 quid, and I can recommend it. I'm just checking to see that the headphones are still at 212. Yes, they are, and you can get them in black or in white at that very price. So 2 bargains from Nothing.
Brilliant. That's some kids sorted out this Christmas if they want phones and headphones. Yeah. Not that Halloween's even arrived yet, but yeah, you could plan ahead for Christmas. Are you getting payments on those?
Sorry?
Are you,
Oh,
the headphones I'm getting
am I
£42
getting...
a month.
Oh, no. No, I'm not. That's
The
interesting, isn't it?
phone is £61
The
a month.
phone. The phone. Let's see if I've got it on the phone. No. No, I'm not. Both of those, you've got payments and I haven't. Really odd, isn't it?
Strange. Strange, strange, strange.
Mm.
All right, next up is the Mucket. Mycket. This is a DAB radio. It's like a little portable radio that you take with you, hence the word portable. Sorry. I bought something similar to this quite recently, and I do really like it. And I'm thinking maybe I should get some more because they are kind of fun. This is a DAB plus digital radio that also has Bluetooth, USB charging, FM receiver as well, and it's got a battery powered a battery inside it that you charge up obviously, and you can charge things from it as well. It's got a 2.4-inch large colour display on it, and it's down in price to £30, but there's also a £6 off voucher as well. It's available in black and white, and I think these things are actually really useful, especially whenever there's certain things going on around that you might need to tune into the news if there's been some sort of I don't know, terror
COVID
attack or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Having DAB and FM radio is probably the way to go. Sticking these in most bedrooms means that you can play some music if you're relaxing, or you can tune in to the news if something serious is happening. What do you think, Ted? Do you like these?
It looks like USB-C as well,
Yeah.
which is encouraging. Headphone socket. It's really dinky, isn't it? On the main picture, they've got the actual dimensions: 3 inches tall and 5.5 inches wide. It's so tiny.
What an amazing
Very nice,
thing.
yeah. Yeah, very, very nice.
Autoscan 40 preset, or Autoscan and 40 preset stations. I wonder how actually that
Nice,
works.
yeah. I wonder how long the battery lasts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a quick look at some of the reviews and see if anyone's mentioned
Oh no, hang on a minute. It says micro USB charging. That port looks really much like a USB-C, not a micro USB.
Oh,
But they've listed it as micro USB. That's really odd.
maybe it's an old listing that they've updated, but no, there's a picture.
Maybe.
Someone's taken a picture of the circuit board, and it certainly looks like a USB Type-C. And yeah, it is
Right.
USB Type-C.
Right,
Yeah, it's an old listing that they've just upgraded and haven't changed everything.
right. Righto then. Right, my next thing is the thing I promised to come back to, which is this B-Link. And this is the mini PC Sir SER9 Pro. It's got a Ryzen 7 inside it, but 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, Windows 11 Pro, built-in microphone and speakers, which is unusual for a little box in my experience, and it's currently got a £100 voucher on it, which brings it down to £499. Now, I'm not expert enough to know if this is a great bit of kit, but I did read one review which kind of said, yeah, this is actually a really good deal, the specs are good, and there's it's got some silencing going on in terms of fans, and it actually looks quite a nice little bargain. So any thoughts?
Yeah, it does look rather good. It's £599, then that £100 off voucher takes it down to £499 because I can do maths. But it's that Ryzen 7 H255 is a pretty good chip compared with our added with the DDR5 32 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. That is good. It comes with Windows 11 Pro on it, so there's a price of a license there that people would probably. Well, I suppose these things are being used more for gaming, and you can plug in an external graphics card and things to get gaming going, or if you want to use it for Xbox Game Pass, if you can afford to. A lot of people were getting into using these sorts of things for that. as a gaming setup that way. Um, I actually watched on YouTube recently. It was like a tour of the B-Link process in their factory, and they were showing how they make all their devices, and it's like aluminium or something like that. The outside case is made from, and them dipping it into various different vats and things, and cutting out the holes and stuff, and you just realize you think these mini PCs are just cheap little PCs that people throw together, but there's a whole process involved, and I had no idea until I watched that just how complex these things are when they're building them. Um, yeah, I'm really enjoying factory tours at the moment in Shenzhen. I think Commodore as well. Retro Recipes has done one recently of the new Commodore computers being put together, and the level of care that goes into creating one of these is terrific. So I'd love one of these. I really would. At $499, I actually might consider one of these instead of getting another boss game and going the whole hog.
One last word. I said that that it's got speakers, which is quite unusual for a mini PC. But actually, beware that the speakers are reportedly very tinny and crap, which is not surprising. But at least it's got speakers.
Oh yeah, you just want one for be able to beep at you to let you know that something's gone on.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of having to hook up some kind of audio thing. 'Cause mine doesn't have a speaker on it, and if it crashes or if I've reset it, I'd like to hear it go beep that it's up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last one is kind of where I was going with the charging base, because I can order one of these if I want one, but it's not actually Anker. This is the Ugreen Nexode power bank, which is 20,000 milliamp hour, 130 watt fast charging portable charger. And it's got one of those displays on the front, and it's compatible with, they say, Dell, HP, Asus, iPad, and all that, obviously, to get the hits. But it's a really good-looking portable battery that's going to power you up and do you everything you need, including that screen that'll tell you how much power is being delivered to whom and where, and the real-time voltage and real-time current and the power curves and stuff, all that kind of nerdy stuff that you'd look at once or twice maybe on it, but it doesn't look to be too big either. But I really fancy one of these if I was to make another impromptu journey to power up all my technology on the way. Gets great reviews, and it's down in price from £70 to £52. But obviously it's not compatible with that charging thing earlier. But I was looking at the Ankers and went, no, this would be better value. And you can get the Ugreen GAN charger as well that you can plug it into, and it'll charge it up right and fast. What do you think of these? Do you like these?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, definitely. They're obviously copying Anker. I think Anker were first with this design and the screen on the front, and everyone's just copying them now. But Ugreen is a great company. I've never had a problem with a Ugreen product. They always seem like they're well made, well produced, and do the job. So yeah, Ugreen and Anker I'd put in the same kind of pot, I think.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that as well. I'm always happy to buy Ugreen over most other brands if they're doing something, because I know I'm going to get something high quality and good looking. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, and we will be back next Sunday. Ted, do you have something to add?
Oh, I was just going to say I found the one that sits on the base, the Anker one, and it's 120 quid. That's the trouble. So if you buy it with the base, it's 179. No. Where is it with the base? The base, as you said earlier, is $39.99, but the thing that sits on it, the power bank, is $119.99. So yeah, the two together would be 120, 40, 160 quid.
Right.
And I think I'm right in saying that that's the only one that will go on it. So if you buy the base, you've got to buy that one, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay. Actually, as you were talking there, I noticed because I put that in charger into my basket, and I'm just realizing that the guy sitting beside me on the plane had the same thing, because I'm looking at the USB Type C cable becomes the lanyard, and you fit it into a little bit of plastic. And he was fiddling with that, and I think he was examining to see how strong it was, and I was watching him examining how strong it was, and I was like, I don't know that I would trust that.
No.
But they seem to be doing that more and more often, and using the USB-C cable to be a handle. I know my little earbuds that I bought from Anchor a while ago, they have that too. But I don't know that I would trust this. Anyway. Right, so if you want to get in touch with us, you can by emailing us at gareth@techaddicts.uk. You can also find us on X at techaddictsuk. You can find me on X too, at Gareth Miles, GarethMyles. I also have Mastodon and Blue Sky. I have my garethmiles.com, which I'd started doing 31 days of horror, but then realised that means that I would have to review 31 horror movies, so I'm just going to do a couple. Ted, where can they find you?
TedSalmon.com, as always. And that's pretty much where I hang out. All the links out to all our audio podcasts and all of our MeWe groups go from there. Most of the time I'm just on MeWe, to be honest, but I do have a presence on Mastodon and Blue Sky and other places. PayPal.me/Ted Salmon is where you can buy me a copy if you would like to say hello and thank you.
Terrific. Well, we'll love yous and leave yous, and we'll speak to yous all next week. Take care now.
Bye.